All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, you guys, all good. Okay, welcome everyone to Alaska Night in Hill and Talked Out Hour webinar. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Okay, everybody's got their beverages ready to tuck in. Okay, let's do it. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Shara Hickman. I'm a travel agent at Fantastic Voyages, and we are hosted by KHM Travel Group. I've always loved travel, always wanted to travel and see the world. And finally now I'm getting my chance. So far I've traveled to Turks and Caicos, Puerto Rico, Bermuda, Mexico, the Bahamas, Jamaica, many trips to the Walt Disney World Resort, as well as Disneyland Resort, Universal and Orlando Princess and Royal Caribbean cruises, and several US states traveling with my oldest daughter for softball. This year, I'll be making trips to the Dominican Republic, Alaska, Las Vegas, Mexico again, and Disneyland. Maybe a few more in between. We'll see what comes up. Okay, now before I get started here with the princess content, I do want to have a disclaimer that anything can and does change all the time. So if there's something in this webinar that you see that you really like, let me know. Make sure that it's still available. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen here and we will get started. Hopefully it won't be more than 30 or 40 minutes. We'll see how long I go. Okay, so right here we have a picture of Denali. It is 20,310 feet tall, the highest mountain in North America. So just like any industry, you're going to have tons of brands out there to cruise and travel up to Alaska, Royal Caribbean, Disney, Norwegian, Virgin Voyages. They're all going to offer an Alaskan itinerary. Princess has the competitive edge. They have access to all of the places that you're going to see on the map here in just a moment. Let me play this video really quick for you. Just a little quick one. But here on this map, you can see all of the places that Princess has access to. There in red, excuse me, you're going to see the Princess Wilderness Lodges. Those are owned by Princess. They are run by Princess. So that allows them to put together the whole package of the lodge, the rail, and the cruise, making the cruise tour. Okay, so again, here's the map here. You can see everything on there. Number one in Alaska. They've been that way for a really long time. Glaciers, they've got their North to Alaska program, fresh Alaska seafood, amazing excursions. We'll talk a little bit more about these in depth. So first off, we're going to talk about is our glaciers. So this here is Mount Fairweather. Now, Princess has the upper hand in Alaska, especially for Glacier Bay National Park. This one is a glacier that's actually Marjorie Glacier calving. So what that means is like some of the glacier will actually fall off into the water, into the ocean. Several inches a year, it'll calve. So we're losing that much glacier every year. So kind of scary to think about. But you get to see it here. It's one of the many wonders of the world. The National Park Service is going to limit the number of large ship entries to two cruise ships per day into Glacier Bay National Park. Okay, and that's all of these areas that you see here. So because Princess holds a long-term permit, they're going to be one of the two cruise ships almost every single day of the year. The other cruise lines I mentioned earlier, basically what they have to do is they have to bid for a spot or basically just kind of hope that one comes available. If they put one on their itinerary, there's a good chance that they will have to skip it because they don't have access like Princess does. That's the number one reason why I recommend Princess when you're going to Alaska. Of course, you're going to see tons of wildlife. There's a humpback whale getting ready to breach right there. Tons of wildlife, so keep your eye out there. There's another one. orcas, anything you can think of that swims, you'll find in Alaska. Sea otters, seals, these puffins, you might recognize those from the zoo. Eagles, these are the red sockeye salmon. If you get to go on a land excursion onto Glacier Bay National Park, definitely see if you can find a stream. They'll be everywhere in the summer. Black bear, there's also brown bear. There's over 100,000 bears in Alaska. More bears live in Alaska than humans do. You're also going to see moose and mountain goats. And then, of course, they have excursions where you can go out on a smaller boat and see all kinds of whales, other types of marine animals. Everywhere you go on this cruise tour, you're going to be accompanied by a park ranger or a naturalist, a scientist who lives Alaska. That's their life. They live it, breathe it. They're going to be everywhere on the rail service, at the lodges. They'll answer questions. They'll be giving lectures. They'll be there with all these materials that you see here, just giving as much information as they can about Alaska. They'll also come on the bridge. That's where the captain of the cruise ship steers the ship. And they will narrate exactly what you're seeing outside of your window. So no matter where you are in the cruise ship, if you're in the casino and they come on the speaker and they're like, hey, check it out. There's some orcas out there. Grab your chips and run, you know? So you get you get to see everything. Also, if you got kiddos coming on the cruise with you, they've got a park ranger program for kids. It's called the Junior Park Ranger Program. And they get to actually become an official junior park ranger, which I think is pretty cool. Lots of lessons and activities for the kids that are actually given by the rangers themselves, which super great learning activity, especially if you're pulling them out of school for a week or so. Hey, the next best thing about Princess Alaska, is that the inside passage. If you see here, you can sure if you can see my cursor, but if you see it right here, kind of down in the lower right area, this area right here is untouched wilderness, hundreds of miles of untouched wilderness, and you can pass straight through there in the cruise ship. One thing about Princess is that the ships that they have that are sailing to Alaska are going to be smaller, so they can fit through that area. Some of the larger ships have to sail on that outside, the west there, and you just don't get to see the amazing stuff that everybody else gets to see when they go through the inside passage. So, you know, something to consider. If you are sailing to and from Vancouver, right down here, lower right-hand corner, or if you're sailing round trip from Vancouver, you do go through this arrow. It's called the Seymour Narrows part of the inside passage. So just consider that as well. All right, so the next part about Princess is that they have this program called North to Alaska. So basically there are multiple facets to this program, and the first one's going to be called Cook Your Catch. So if you happen to go out there on a fishing excursion and you catch something, you can take it back to the cruise ship and they'll cook it up for you. So right here, these guys, they're on a river excursion. They caught a king salmon. It's the biggest salmon that they have. These guys didn't catch as big of a salmon, but you know, they got something. So hey, a meal in and of itself. And there's another little guy out there for you. Looks like they are cooking it up, and of course, it looks amazing. So yeah, there's that one for you. Okay, and then of course, you've got your puppies on the piazza. This is a really fun program. So what they do is the sled mushers, which are the breeders, the riders, the trainers of all the sled dogs, they come on board, they bring the puppies on board, and they let them socialize and get a little photo op. And of course, everybody loves it. Who doesn't love puppies? So actually, I think I have a little video here for you. You can check it out and see what it's all about. so cute. Everybody loves that. So speaking of puppies, this is Libby Riddles. Okay, Libby Riddles is the first woman to win the Iditarod. She comes on board. She tells all about her riveting story. If you don't want to know what the Iditarod is, I had to look it up myself. So the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race is an annual grueling 1,000-mile endurance race in Alaska. It's held every March from Anchorage to Nome. It's known as the last great race. So it pits teams of a musher and 12 to 14 dogs against extreme conditions, sub-zero temps, mountains, frozen rivers, to honor the historic 1925 dog sled steer run and maintain the tradition of dog mushing. So pretty neat. She was the first woman to ever win it, ever. So love that. She comes on board. She tells all about it and her whole experience. So definitely something not to miss. All right, another thing about Princess is that they have Alaska Seafood Night once you're on the cruise ship. So that's going to feature halibut, like you see here, some salmon, also some king crab, some more salmon. Everything is locally sourced, fresh caught, likely caught within a few miles of where it's being served, literally. I mean, just as fresh as you can possibly imagine. And of course, delicious. They've got great wine pairings too, if you're into that. All right. Now, of course, with Princess and a cruise tour, you're going to have the Direct to the Wilderness rail service. So the rail service is a dome-shaped rail. And you can check out here, you see these windows, exactly how they're dome-shaped. So you can see every single thing outside of your window. All the wildlife, all the views. They're going to travel about 30 to 40 miles an hour. So you can really see everything. You're not just zipping by. There's also an open rail car where you can breathe the fresh air. You'll pass through untouched land that you can only access by the rail car. So really an amazing experience. Here's a little map here about where it goes. You can go all the way down here from Whittier up there to Fairbanks. And then I have a video here about the rail. All right, so that's the rail service. You know, you might be thinking, I don't want to do a rail. That seems insanely boring. But there's a lot to see, and it's really, really cool. I mean, you're not just sitting there like, oh my God, get me out of here. There's so much to see, and there's something different at every turn. So your guide is going to be, they're really entertaining. They're funny, so they crack jokes, and they're gonna entertain you and make sure that you stay awake and that you have a good time. So if you see this chart here, this basically is going to tell you where um, on your cruise tour, wherever you're going to have that rail segment, how long it's going to take you. Okay, and then what type of food service, car types, that type of thing. One thing to note is that the rail can happen at any time during the land portion of your cruise tour. So the sea portion, the cruise part of your cruise tour, that's going to be 7 days long. That's not going to be interrupted. So your rail portion is going to be either, if you start with the cruise, it'll be the cruise, rail, and then land. or it could be cruise, land with rail somewhere in the middle. So just keep that in mind. If you have a specific itinerary or a specific place you wanted to reach in the rail, of course, just let me know, and we can make sure that we get your preferred itinerary there. So everywhere you go in Alaska, as soon as you step foot in, you're going to be looking for the big five. And these are going to be obviously bear, caribou, meese, the Dall sheep, moose, the Dall sheep, and wolves. The most elusive are the wolves. Not a lot of people see them, so if you do, consider yourself extremely lucky, but definitely keep your eyes peeled nonetheless. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this already, but the cruise tour again is a cruise plus rail plus a land tour of Alaska. Okay, and we've got Mary Jackwell back here to help us out explaining a little bit more about what a cruise tour is. She's also going to talk a little bit about some of the lodges that are up there in the interior of Alaska. Here she comes.
Hey, Mom, we can't hear the video.
Oh, shoot. Okay, one sec. That's unfortunate. Well, if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to skip it.
Okay.
Let's try again.
We're not hearing anything.
Is that a negative?
Yeah, not hearing anything.
Okay. Okay, well, I will link that in case you actually want to watch it.
Okay.
If not, no big. We will go over the lodges anyway. I did plan to. So here is that map again that shows you, if you leave from down here in Vancouver, takes you through the cruise, through the inside passage, and then of course up here to the lodges there in green this time. So without further ado, this slide is my favorite. So you can see exactly how big Alaska is. This is geographically correct. So Alaska takes up what, 9 states right there in the Midwest? Kind of puts it into perspective how big it is, why it takes kind of long to get to each place. Okay, so first we have up the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. So this one is the action hub. It's about a mile from the entrance of Denali National Park. And of course, you have the amazing views. And that's actually a pizza place. Okay, and then you have Mount McKinley, even though that says Mr. McKinley. It's supposed to be Mount McKinley, Princess Wilderness Lodge. This is the treehouse there. This was actually built by the treehouse masters on Animal Planet for Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. And it has the ultimate view of Denali back there, just above the tree line. And of course, there's the lodge main lobby with Denali right back there in the background. Perfect view. Another view of Denali from the treehouse. Then here's inside the treehouse. So it's a really beautiful space. And then next up, we have Kenai Princess Wilderness Lodge. This one's more of a bungalow retreat. It only has about 80 rooms, I believe. You can see that crystal clear turquoise blue river right next to it. Almost looks tropical. These all have a wood burning stove in the room, and they're just so fun. Insane views right outside your own balcony. All right, next we've got Copper River Princess Wilderness Lodge. Gorgeous property. Tons of trails and just the explorer's gem is what it's called. So this place overlooks Wrangell St. Elias National Park. This national park is the largest national park in the United States. It is roughly 6 times the size of Yellowstone National Park. That's how big it is. All right, and then the last one, the furthest north, is Fairbanks Princess Riverside Lodge. This one is perfectly situated on the Chena River. It is famous for their riverboat discovery tours and gold dredging. So this right here is where they dredge for gold. Super cool. Now, for views and proximity to Denali, you want to stay at Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. If you are looking more for relaxation, you're looking at Mount McKinley. Those are the differences between the lodges there. They're both you're gonna see Denali from both. Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge being on the north end, Mount McKinley being on the south end. All those amazing views. This is called a flight thing tour, where you actually land on a glacier and get in this tiny little airplane. Insane. And then there's the treehouse again at Mount McKinley. Perfect views just over the tree line of Denali right in the background. Okay. And then of course we've got all of our land excursions. So one thing about the lodges is that, while you're there, why not go on an excursion? I'm not going to name them all, but there are a few that I like to call out for each lodge. So at Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge, the Black Diamond ATV adventure is always top of the list, always sells out fast. And of course, you've got the flight thing adventures, the scenic river float, of course. And then in Mount McKinley, you can do the wilderness jet boat adventures. This is the Talkeetna zip line adventure. This is the Kenai Fjord. How beautiful is that? Absolutely stunning. This is the Kenai Fjords National Park cruise. You could do that. You could go panning for gold. Super popular, Prospector John. Or she could go salmon fishing, maybe get a different partner. I don't know. And then, of course, you've got your Copper River dog sled demonstration and ride. And these are the dog sleds, the dog sled dogs here, some of them. So cute. You can go out on Valdez Coastal Kayak Tour. And then, of course, once you get up to Fairbanks, you can do the Riverboat Discovery Cruise or the Aurora Borealis viewing, which is absolutely stunning. Now, one key thing about the Aurora Borealis is you can receive a wake-up call. So if you didn't know, in Alaska, the sun sets really late. So you might have like an 11 p.m. or 11:30 sunset, simply because of the Earth's axis and the way that sun hits the Earth. In the summertime, Alaska doesn't see a lot of nighttime. So when it does get dark and the Aurora Borealis does come out, you can schedule a wake-up call. So they'll call you, even if it's 3 a.m. They'll call you, hey, throw on your robe and go out to your balcony. You're not going to want to miss this. So definitely something to keep in mind to do once you get to the lodge if you'd like to do that. Okay, now, of course, you have dining at the Princess Wilderness Lodges. They're all intentional. They cover a wide variety of palates. Again, salmon, halibut, king crab, all super fresh, amazing, and delicious. Wild caught, etc. Okay, so once your land tour is over, it is time to head to the cruise ship to start your sea journey. All right, so your cruise is going to include multiple stops, multiple ports, as well as some sea days. Again, Glacier Bay National Park, that's going to be the highlight of the cruise. It is considered the holy grail of cruising in Alaska. So you'll have a scenic cruising day. And what that means is they'll cruise into Glacier Bay National Park. Again, one of two cruise ships allowed for the entire day. And you'll cruise around. They will go really, really slowly. And they'll stop at some points and they'll do a complete spin. So everybody on the ship is able to see, whatever it is that you're there to see, and you don't miss a thing. So that's amazing. course, you've got all of the wildlife there too. There's some harbor seals. Absolutely stunning. Just beautiful. Okay, so this port you're going to stop at. Definitely going to stop at Ketchikan, salmon capital of the world. Famous Creek Street. They've got tons of fish restaurants, lots of little shops. Then you've got Juneau. You can do the gold mining tour here. They also have Tracy Arm Fjord. You can take an excursion to go see that. And then there's the Gold Belt Mount Robert tramway gondola ride. Now, your last port here will be in Skagway. What's famous here is the White Path. I didn't get a photo of it, of course, but the White Path is like a half turn rail. Super cool, super scary, super fun, super, seems like would be something would be in the movies. So everybody always loves that. Something to check out. And of course, the Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park is also another really popular place to visit. Okay. And that does it for the port. Now, once you are on the cruise, you're going to have a lot of inclusions. So first of all, food. Food's going to be included. Buffet, the main dining hall. There's going to be several grab and go spots that you can get a bite to eat at, dinner, lunch, breakfast. It's all included. There are some specialty dining shops that are an additional charge, but your needs are met with the main dining room, the buffet, and some of the other grab and go places. So that's why the specialty dining places do cost a little extra. Okay, now the entertainment, shows, casino, art galleries. Okay, there's live music. This guy's juggling. Okay, there's a cooking demonstration live, mariachi band on the top deck, a circus without the animals. Lots of things to do on the cruise ship. You're going to be entertained. You're going to be taken care of. Your stateroom accommodations, there are lots of different categories that you can book into. Obviously, when you're in Alaska, I'm going to always recommend a balcony stateroom. You want to be able to look out the window. You want to be able to see what you're there to see, which is Alaska. But here are the ones that are available for most cruise ships. I'll say most cruise ships. So you've got your interior stateroom. This one has 0 windows. Great if you are a night owl. You've got another one here. So what this one shows you is that you can split the bed into 1 Euro queen or 2 twin beds. You want to sleep separately from your companion, maybe they kick, I don't know. Here is a Euro queen together. And of course, this is the ocean view. So they've got a big window, but they can't open it. You don't have a balcony, but at least you can see out the window. So there's that. So here is a balcony stateroom. Of course, you've got the sliding glass door there. Mini suites are also going to look like this, except they're going to have a sofa right over here, like it's like a pull-out sofa. And then, of course, you've got your suite. And then this is the royal suite. Keeping in mind that cruise ship accommodations are not big. Even the royal suite is not big. So just something to keep in mind if you're booking a cruise. Okay, and then here's the bathroom. This is kind of a bigger bathroom, but it was the nicest one I could find. But this has the domed shaped shower door, which gives you just a little bit more room inside the shower, which is nice because those stand-up showers are not big again. And then this is really nice because it has a separate area for the toilet and then another sink in there. And then you can have your vanity, kind of your get ready mirror and sink in this room. Okay, and then speaking of the room, you're going to have your medallion class technology. This is how you get into your room. You're going to wear it. This gal, these guys, actually both of them have it on lanyards. You can see it there. It's just this quarter-shaped disc. If you've ever been to Disney World and you've worn a magic band, it's kind of the same concept. So if you haven't, it is this disc. You wear as a bracelet. You can wear it around your neck. wherever you want, really. Keychain, however you want to hold on to it. It acts as your key card. It opens your room. It allows you to charge to your room. You can get ship navigation. You can locate the rest of your party if they've ditched you. If you'd like to order room service, it's called Ocean Now, for example. They're going to use your medallion to locate you on the ship. So you order your, mozzarella sticks on the app, and they're going to use your medallion to say, oh, where's this person? There they are. There's the medallion. Let me give them their mozzarella sticks, and then you can go. You can take out. Okay, and then let's see here. Perfect. There's a nice little image of the navigation. Shows exactly where you are on the ship. Now, if you are lost on the ship, you don't have your phone on you for some reason, there are going to be these larger screens that are interactive and you can figure out where you are. And let's be real, you're on a ship, so you're probably not going to get lost. Kids can, edit their avatar or just make this little buddy to kind of follow them along on their journey. And then, of course, like I said, you can charge any of your purchases to your folio, and then it just gets charged to the payment method that you have on file at the end of the trip. Okay, so things that are not included in a cruise or a cruise tour are going to be your beverages, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, and staff gratuity. I'll take a quick sip of my drink. Excuse me. So we have these cruise packages, cruise packages to help cover the cost of those things. So your Premier is going to get you a few more inclusions than your Plus, but both are going to offer alcoholic beverages, specialty coffees and teas, beer, wine, spirits, fountain drinks, that sort of thing. Bottled water, everybody gets up to 12 bottles a day. You'll have some casual meals or unlimited specialty dining. The delivery room service, that's for both, no matter what. You will have Wi-Fi, depending on which one you get, will determine how many devices that you get. With Premier, you'll get a shore excursion credit. Gratuities will be included with both. Let's chat about gratuities. Please make sure that we chat about it. Gratuities, if you do end up booking a cruise with me, I just like to lay it out for my clients exactly what to expect there. Photos are included with Premier, and of course, you have the reserved theater seating. But I will say, all the seats in the theater are great for all the shows. You don't have to necessarily worry about the theater seating holding you back. Okay. All right, you guys, I think we are done. Oh, we got one more. Sorry. The land tour dining package. This is something that you can also purchase ahead of time. So your food on the land tour is not included. It is only included on the cruise ship. So for that reason, you can purchase a meal plan ahead of time. It does cover most of your meals, not every single meal, but it will include most of them. And the great thing about the meal plan is that you will get to go to all the sit-down restaurants and you can order anything on the menu. So you can order the $125 surf and turf, or you can order the $25, chicken Caesar salad. Up to you. But if you're shopping with a voucher, you might as well go all out. You're on vacation, right? Awesome. Okay, guys, this is your last slide. Thank you so much again for hanging with me tonight. So this is a sample of a cruise tour. This one starts with the cruise. So days 1 through 7, you're going to be on board the cruise, sailing. You're going to see all the ports, going to see all the glaciers. On day 8, you're going to board this particular cruise tour is going to board the Direct to the Wilderness rail, and they are going to eat on the train. They are going to go to Talkeetna, then they're going to take a motor coach to Mount McKinley. They're going to stay there the night. The next day, another motor coach to Denali, a night or two there with some field trips, and the Denali Natural History Tour. Okay, that's not going to be included in most cruise tours. I do recommend upgrading to the Tundra Wilderness Tour. It's a minimal charge and it takes you several miles further into the forest than the Denali National History Tour does. So definitely a tip there. All right, then after that, you're off to Fairbanks, where you'll spend some time there. And then, of course, you're on your flight back home, a quick 12 days. So if you've got the time, definitely check that out. All right, you guys, we are all done today for this presentation. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to put them into the chat. Otherwise, we are all set here. You're also welcome to email me, set up a one-on-one meeting with me. If you're in the St. Louis area, I'd be happy to meet for coffee or lunch or something sometime. Now, if you saw a slide tonight that looks like your dream vacation, please make sure to get with me. Let's talk about your options and make sure that we find a fit that works for you and your family. All right, guys, thank you again for joining me. I hope you all have an awesome night. And that's it. Any questions?
Do you have one?
I think so.
Okay. What would you say, how far out do you have to book like a cruise or anything like that for Alaska?
So a good time to book is June through December of the previous year. So if you want to sail in 27, book between June and December. You can book up to 2 years in advance.
Okay. Nice.
Good question.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much, Mom. This is
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. Seriously, so appreciate it.
Of
You guys
course.
are
You
both
did
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys. All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of your night, and I am going to go get another cocktail. Bye.
Bye,
See ya.
Mom.
Have a good one.
Sure.